Hi guys, thanks for watching today's video and welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we are going to be doing some fall decor but DIYs, and I'm pulling some inspiration from some high-end decor that I found on like Pottery Barn, some from Target, so not necessarily high-end, but we can definitely do it cheaper and do it ourselves. So I'm just going to take you through how I'm going to do all of these crafts. They're really easy. I don't consider myself a really crafty person, so if I can do it, you can definitely do it, and I'm really excited to see how they turn out. I've used this technique before, so I know that I kind of have a gist of how it's going to turn out, but I think that these ideas are going to be really beautiful and really make an awesome impact on your fall decor. So let's just go ahead and get started. First, I'm showing you guys all of the materials that we're going to be using today. So I have lots of paint options, all of the items I'm actually going to transform, and then some greenery to kind of style the pieces once I am done here. Baking soda is a main material today because we are going to be using the baking soda and paint technique on pretty much all of our DIYs. So you'll see what I mean in a second if you have not heard of it. So this is my first inspiration picture. I'm going to try and recreate this with what I have. As you can see here, I found this white vase at Hobby Lobby. I just really love the shape, but I do like that stone texture. So that's what this baking soda and paint technique is going to give us. It's going to give the paint a little bit of a roughness and a little bit of texture, and it's just a half and half mixture. So 50% paint, 50% baking soda. You mix it together and then you just paint it on. I would recommend, if the items are going to be high touch or used more frequently, maybe not as just decoration, to use some sort of primer that makes it stick to the item a little bit better. In this case, I'm just having to be a little bit more careful. I'm not going to be touching this vase a lot, but if I was, the paint might chip off eventually. Or you could probably seal it with like a clear coat at the end, but that's just a tip if you are wanting to try this at home. Now I'm adding some of this acrylic paint in unbleached titanium, and I'm going to add baking soda to it as well, because as you work in layers with the paint, the baking soda technique is going to just add more and more texture. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of this because I'm just going to be dabbing it on to certain areas of the vase instead of a thick layer. So I am using a paper towel, which worked perfectly fine. I probably would have preferred a sponge for this technique. Or either a different paper towel. Maybe it's just the paper towels I used, but they just kind of ripped pretty easily. But the technique still worked really well and gave me the effect that I wanted. I really just want to kind of age the vase a little bit and just make it look like naturally older. And right here, I'm actually taking a new paper towel and going back into the original white color I used to kind of blend in some areas where I went a little bit too heavy with the beige color. So this just helps blend it in and just makes it look a little bit, again, more natural and not so obvious. But here is the final product. I really love how this turned out. The colors are just perfect and I think really similar to my inspiration. My next project is going to be recreating these two Pottery Barn pumpkins. They are a terracotta pumpkin, and these I got from Hobby Lobby. They are foam, but I think this could work really well for ceramic pumpkins, or really just any that you have, but ceramic would give you that weight, of course, that terracotta has. And I'm using, again, the baking soda and paint technique, and I'm just going to start off by painting the bottom of the pumpkins first.
Took a bite, and now I'm filled up. I don't know where you are tonight.
can really tell how pretty this orange is, and it's not like a bold orange, it is truly a terracotta color.
Together, I found it quite hard, quite lovely. You start me up like no one has ever could. You feel my fire.
Right here, I noticed that the second mixture of orange I made was way too much baking soda. It was way too pasty, and so to combat that, all you have to do is add more paint and it will just be balanced out after that. But you want the texture to be, of course, gritty, but you don't want it to be a paste. You want it to still be liquidy and able to be spread around really easily.
Feeling like there's no one other than you who can make me lose my mind. You start me up like no one has ever could. You feel my fire. What are the odds we end up loving it? Spending every minute together. I found it quite hard, quite lovely. You start me up like no one has ever could. You feel my fire, fire, fire. 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 You feel my fire. Let's keep this fire alive. Let's keep this fire alive. You start me up like no one has ever could. You feel my fire. What are the odds we end up loving it? Spending every minute together. I found it quite hard, quite lovely. You start me up like no one has ever could. You feel my fire, fire. Let's keep this fire alive. Fire. Let's keep this fire alive. Fire, fire.
So I am adding 2 coats on each of these pumpkins to just make sure they have a nice solid base to whitewash after this.
I grew up and I'm bitter. 0 out of 3 now. Thought that I'd be quicker, but I'm heading out that way for sure. Said that you'd be waiting, and now it's been too long, been too long. I wish that we could turn back time, back to all of those nights when I knew you were mine. I miss when we were teenage girls and our tomboy t-shirts. When life was good and the worn out sneakers. When we were fine, but we
And this is the texture after 2 coats of that paint.
tomboy t-shirts.
To give them the whitewash effect, I'm just going to add a squirt of this acrylic white paint into a glass of water. Just mix it around and apply it with my brush here. As you can see, I did get a little bit scared that this was a little too harsh, so I'm going to take a paper towel and try to dab a little bit of that off, and then I'm going to try and use the paper towel and just apply it that way. I always like to just try different things and see what technique is going to work best when I'm doing these DIYs, so feel free to do that yourself if you have other materials to work with. I kind of just had brushes and some paper towels on this particular day, but I liked the effect this gave as well. It was pretty subtle, and then I could go in and add more with the brush as I wanted. After I finished whitewashing the entire pumpkin, I went in with just white paint and added some into these creases of the pumpkin just to add a little bit of definition there, and I noticed the Pottery Barn ones had that, so I wanted to kind of duplicate that. And after I'm adding all of the white creases, since they are a little bit harsh, I'm going to take a damp paper towel and just run over that just to kind of soften them and make them look a little bit more diffused.
life was good in the worn out sneakers. When we were fine about the complications, those were the days in the tomboy t-shirt. Tomboy t-shirts.
This project I don't have any specific inspiration for, but it's just going to be a decorative bowl on like a pedestal. I found these mini bowls at Target. I think they were 4 for $3, and I'm going to hot glue it to this shallow bowl that I also found at Target for $4. So just to add like a little bit of height to the decorative bowl, that's why we are hot gluing those together.
You took me to paradise, that's why it's hard to wait.
Again with the baking soda and paint technique, I just love this so much. I love the effect it gives on so many different materials. So I'm actually using Urbane Bronze for this project. So it's like a really beautiful warmy kind of gray color, and we're just going to paint the entire bowl this color. I'm going to start with the bottom, of course, let that dry, and then we can flip it over and do the top.
A simple question, can I get closer? Just for motivation. Life is hard the way it is, but with you it's easy.
When painting this bowl, I really am just focusing on the sides and the bottom of the bowl. So the underneath part I'm really just not focusing on. I'm just going to put one coat on there because you're just never going to see it.
Stay a bit longer. Yeah, I just need you to. I just need you to. Stay a bit longer. I just need you to. Can I be around you for motivation? Just a little while. A simple question. Can I get closer? Just for motivation. Can I be around you for motivation? Just a little while. A simple question. Can I get closer? Just for motivation.
And this is where we're at after 2 coats of that paint. Now I'm using black acrylic paint, and I'm using the same technique that I used for the white vase, and we're just taking a paper towel. I'm not adding in baking soda this time because I'm going to be using a little bit more of a rubbing motion. So the baking soda kind of would scratch against the original coat of baking soda, if that makes sense, if you rub it, and it can cause it to chip off. So we're just going to go in with no baking soda, and it's going to give it a little bit of an aged effect as well here. And the very last thing I want to recreate is this vase from Target. It's just sold out, so that's why I want to make something similar. So I'm using the same terracotta color that I use on the pumpkins, just because I had it, and I really like that color in general. So again, baking soda and paint. We're just painting over this vase with 2 coats to give it nice texture.
Surprised you never had the guts to figure out how I feel about you. Wish me the best of luck. I'm gonna win your love. Coming to get you, dying to feel your touch. Wish me the best of luck. Coming to get you. Wish me the best of luck. Trying to steal your heart. Coming to get you. Coming to get you. Coming to get you. I
to add some distressing to this vase, I'm going to use similar whitewashing technique, but just with brown acrylic paint. So we're going to mix that together with the water and just rub it, or paint it rather, all over the entire vase. And similar process where if I need to absorb some of the water and paint mixture, I'm just going to grab my paper towel and run it over there just to get up some of that excess.
Secret under city lights, surprised you never had the guts to figure out how I feel about you. Wish me the best of luck, I'm gonna win your love, coming to get you, dying to feel your touch. Wish me the best of luck, coming to get you.
I think one of the best things about these projects is that they're all super forgiving. You don't have to be perfect. I mean, that's actually the point, is for it to not be perfect. So you have a lot of room for error, and really the errors are just going to make it look more real and have more character. So definitely don't be afraid of any of these projects. They're definitely doable and super forgiving, and just the point is for it to not be perfect. So there's just no pressure.
Sneaking out at night, keep wishing you would kiss me under city lights.
And now my favorite part is getting to style all of these beautiful new pieces. I love how this vase turned out. I think it just truly looks like a beautiful distressed rustic vase. And I'm adding in these dried stems that I found at Hobby Lobby. I love the colors. I'm using this beautiful, it's kind of like a yellow gold color with some brown, and I think it just complements the color of the vase so well. And I mean, this just looks amazing. And I already had the vase that I painted, so I really just bought the stems. So if you have something hanging around that you just don't love, you can definitely transform it into something gorgeous.
I feel paper thin. Ooh.
And now I'm adding in our beautiful pedestal bowl. I mean, this just looks like authentic stone in my opinion. I think it just turned out so great. I'm adding in this like vase filler mini pumpkins from Hobby Lobby, and they're leather. The color just complements the vase so well. It definitely goes with my tones for fall this year. And this is just so affordable, and it looks really high-end in my opinion. And now I'm just going to add in these red stems for our white vase, which I just love the contrast of the colors here. And these came out of the same bundle from the stems I put in the first vase. And this just looks gorgeous. It looks so similar to my inspiration, and I am just really happy here. And of course, lastly, here are our terracotta dupe pumpkins. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're not already, and I look forward to seeing you next week in my new video. Bye!